Yesterday, the National Football League lost a true legend, a true pioneer, uh, an, uh, an intricate part of the Chicago Bears organization. A man who was one of the many reasons why their defense would forever be known as the Monsters of the Midway, the heart and soul of this defense. Yesterday, the NFL lost the great Dick Butkus. Hello, friends, and welcome to the Week 5 edition of TXN Sports World NFL Friday. I am your host, Anthony Florio, joined, as always, by good old MF Michael Fletcher, awaiting the presence of Michael Bullock. If he comes in, we'll catch him up on what he missed, or if not, then we'll hopefully have him back with us tomorrow night for the Cerebral Smack Talk. But sad news to start this Week 5 edition of TXN Sports World NFL Friday. Yesterday, the NFL losing a living legend in the form of the great Dick Butkus. And he was 80 years old, and this was a man who pioneered the Chicago Bears defense. And before we do our usual routine, we're going to take this moment to pay our respects and share his our favorite memories, as well as a laundry list of accomplishments here, guys. He played his college ball at the University of Illinois, Fighting Illini, from 1962 to 64. He was drafted with the third pick in the 1965 NFL draft and was the ninth pick in the second round of the AFL draft that same year. And he only played for one team, and that one team, of course, was the Chicago Bears from 1965 to 1973. Two-time NFL Defensive Player of the Year. He won it back-to-back years in 1969 and 1970. Five-time first-team All-Pro, 65, and then 68 to 70, and then in 72. Three-time second-team All-Pro, 66, 67, and 71. Eight-time Pro Bowler from 1965 to 1972. 1974, he won the George Halas Award. A member of the NFL 1960s All-Decade Team, the NFL 1970s All-Decade Team, 75th Anniversary All-Time Team, 100th Anniversary All-Time Team. His number 51 was retired by the Chicago Bears. Of course, was put into the list of the 100 greatest Chicago Bears of all time. UPI Lineman of the Year, 1964. Big Ten Most Valuable Player in 1963. Same year, he was a unanimous All-American, consensus All-American in 1964. Two-time first-team All Big Ten from 63 to 64. And his number 50 was retired by the Illinois Fighting Illini. In his NFL career, he had 22 interceptions and 27 fumble recoveries. A living legend for the Chicago Bears. And Deacon Jones once said of him, Dick was an animal. I called him a maniac, a stone maniac. He was a well-conditioned animal, and every time he hit you, he tried to put you in the cemetery, not the hospital. USA Today called Butkus the gold standard by which other middle linebackers are measured. Although not the creator of the middle linebacker position, which is credited to his predecessor, Bill George, Butkus is recognized as having defined the role. He is also recognized for having set the benchmark for the success of Bears middle linebackers, which continued with Mike Singletary and Brian Urlacher. Hall of Fame running back Earl Campbell, known for his hard-hitting running style, cited Butkus as his hero growing up. After his university years, he continued to receive recognition for his college career, inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame in 1983. He was repeatedly ranked among the top players in NFL history, being named the 9th best player in NFL history by the Sporting News in 1999, 10th best by the NFL Network in its top 100 NFL's greatest players series in 2010. 8th best by the New York Daily News. And he was ranked number 1 on NFL Top 10 Most Feared Tacklers when the episode aired in 2008. And his honoring his contributions to Chicago sports, Butkus was inducted into the Chicagoland Sports Hall of Fame in 2008. August 24th of 13, he was inducted into the National Lithuanian American Hall of Fame. In 2018, Butkus was inducted as a laureate of the Lincoln Academy of Illinois and awarded the Order of Lincoln, the state's highest honor by the governor of Illinois. But in addition to his outstanding NFL career, he was also an actor and a broadcaster. Appearing in such movies as The Longest Yard, Cry Onion, Mother Jugs and Speed, Gus, Superdome, Cracking Up, Johnny Dangerously, Hamburger the Motion Picture, The Stepford Children, Spontaneous Combustion, Gremlins 2, The New Batch, Necessary Roughness, and Any Given Sunday, and as a regular character on TV shows such as Blue Thunder, My Two Dads, MacGyver, and one that MF and I most certainly remember, Hang Time. And he also endorsed Prestone, a brand of antifreeze. Appeared in some Miller Lite commercials, and he also worked as a broadcaster. He was an analyst, and he replaced Jimmy the Greek Snyder on the pregame show for the NFL Today in 1988. Served as an analyst through 1989. He was originally named the head coach of the XFL Chicago Enforcers franchise, but was replaced by coach Ron Meyer for the league's only season in 2001. And instead, Butkus served as the league's director of competition. And during the second half of that season, he worked as a color commentator. And, just to name a few, but, just an all-around outstanding player in his own right. And, a fixture in the city of Chicago. And I saw a Facebook post from our dear friend Matt Ward, and that's how I heard about it. I looked into it, and it was confirmed. I was hoping it was fake news, but unfortunately, this was the real thing, guys. And, Dick Butkus passing away yesterday. He died in his sleep at his home in Malibu yesterday. He was 80 years old. And, just an outstanding player who made that Bears defense what it was. And, of course, none of us were around to watch him play football. The three of us were not born when he was playing in his football days. But I best remember him from his acting, when he was on, My Two Dads, and when he was in those commercials. And, of course, let's also not forget, he served as a guest referee as part of that legendary Battle Royal at WrestleMania 2. He was a special guest referee alongside another NFL legend, Ed Too Tall Jones, in that WWF versus NFL Battle Royale. One of the most memorable and iconic Battle Royals in WWE history back at WrestleMania 2, in the Chicago portion of WrestleMania 2. And of course, like I said, not just, My Two Dads, but I best remember him for his role on Hang Time when he served as the head coach of the Deering Tornadoes. He replaced Reggie Theus as the head coach on that show. He was known as Mike Katowinski, and he was great on that show. I mean, I'll always remember that legendary catchphrase of his. Oh, geez. I mean, I always got to laugh every time I heard the "oh geez," and it's never easy to start a show like this, but our thoughts and our prayers are with the Butkus family, his wife and his sons, and of course his family, his friends, all of his past teammates, and and of course the Chicago Bears franchise. And I'm almost certain that that is why the Chicago Bears did what they did on Thursday Night Football, which we'll get into in just a moment. But nonetheless, to on behalf of all of us here at TXN Sports World, you know how we always do it. Whenever we have a death, you know how we always do it. Dick Buckus, on behalf of all of us here, we very simply say to you, sir, thank you for the memories. Thank you for the inspiration. But most of all, thank you for Dick Buckus. Rest in peace, good sir. You will never be forgotten. So, not much more for me to add on here. So, good old MF Michael Fletcher, come on in. Never easy whenever we have to start a show like this, but alas, here we are. As tonight, we pay our respects to one of the greatest to ever do it, the heart and soul of the Chicago Bears, the great Dick Butkus, leaving us at 80 years old. Not just a great player, but a great broadcaster, a guest referee in that WrestleMania 2 Battle Royale. But we best remember him, MF, as Coach Mike Katowinski on Hang Time.
Yeah, it was shocking when we heard the news that Dick Butkus had passed away, and like you said, the body of work that he did was, like we said, more because of the acting. I remember Gremlins 2. I remember his little part in the movie. I remember that Hang Time. So yeah, there's a few shows that I remember him from. And like you said, throughout the entire day, everybody talks about how great of a player that he was, and that is not a hyperbole. That is not an understatement. Dick Butkus was, without a doubt, one of the most feared defensive players back in the day, and just to hear them, especially when they were talking about the 100th anniversary team and that he made the list, and just to hear from the former coaches and some of the current players how they were talking about Dick Butkus and why he made it on that list, and it just was a magical thing to hear, and I marveled at how incredible this man was, as a player, as an individual. One thing that I know, Anthony, you didn't talk about is that he married his high school sweetheart way back when, and they had a few kids together. I think it was 3. They had 3 children together, and yeah, he married his high school sweetheart. They were actually also students at the University of Illinois together. So they continued all the way that they needed it to do. And then, that was exactly the great thing about him. And, one of his sons, Matt, played for the USC Trojans. And, I think it kind of feels like, it's apropos. It's stunning. It's incredible. The man, revolutionized how great the game was. And to us, he is a legend. So, I mean, we always talk about legends and icons and people that revolutionized the game or changed the game. As a defensive guy, and I love my defenses, this is one of those that it hurts me even more because of the impact that he had on the defensive side of the ball. So for me, I'm especially grateful for a guy like this, for what he brings to the game, and because of him, look at the linebacking core that's now in the NFL. Look at the prototypical linebacker now is because of this man. So rest easy, my friend. Thank you for everything you did, for your contributions to the game, and you are worthy and a legend in our hearts and in our minds forever. So rest easy, my friend, till we meet you in paradise very, very soon someday. And nothing more to say, Michael Bullock, I'll give it to you.
yeah, you could definitely say he was one of the great defenders of all time. I mean, this guy he terrorized like a lot of people. I mean, especially whether it's like offensive linemen. I mean, so many guys because he always found a way to make a tackle or even get a sack. And this guy was one of the true hearts and souls of the Chicago Bears team, not just defensively, but the team themselves. But it's just, and the thing is that he never really was on like a good team with the Chicago Bears, but he still meant so much to that defense, and yeah, he was just. I mean, he was just that intimidating presence whenever he took the field, and yeah, I mean, and like you said, the other thing I remember, will always remember about him when he was the referee for that battle royale at WrestleMania 2 in I think it was in Chicago when it, yeah, when you had the wrestlers going up against the former NFL players or current both former and current NFL players, and let's not forget another guy who passed away that was part of that too, former Patriots tight end Russ Francis. I mean, he was part of that. So
Yeah.
yeah, so that's the other thing I'll always remember about him. But yeah, the Chicago Bears fans always adored this guy, and on behalf of all of us here, we send our thoughts and our prayers and condolences to his family, his friends, and everybody that knew this special guy. So rest easy, my friend. And that being said, Florio, let's recap what actually turned out to be a much better Thursday night game than what we all originally thought.
Yes, 1 year ago, Washington and Chicago met on a Thursday night in Chicago, and Washington won the game by a score of 12-7. Not last night. Chicago Bears and Washington Commanders met again. They met at FedEx Field, and the Chicago Bears. Obviously, this was their way of saying, this one's for you, Dick Butkus. They won one for him, and they did so, in the immortal words of MF and Gorilla Monsoon, in grand style, man. Grand fashion. Putting away the Washington Commanders 40-20. The defense recorded 5 sacks and an interception. But it wasn't about the defense. It was about the offense. Justin Fields, 15 of 29, 282 yards, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. Khalil Herbert led the rushing attack with 76 yards. Are you ready for a stat line, guys? Listen to the stat line of DJ Moore from last night. 8 catches, 230 yards, and 3 touchdowns. That's 40 fantasy points right there. Cole Kmet, my old friend from Notre Dame, he had a receiving touchdown as well. 42 yards, 5 catches. Defense had 5 sacks. Stroman Jr., Walker, Ngakoue, Green, and TJ Edwards. And Stroman also had an interception as well for Chicago. For Washington, Sam Howell, great game for him. 37 of 51, 388 yards, 2 touchdowns. He did throw an interception. The running attack was non-existent. Sam Howell led the team with only 19 yards rushing. Yikes, that's not going to get it done. Logan Thomas receiving touchdown, 77 yards on 9 catches. Curtis Samuel receiving touchdown, 65 yards, 6 catches. Defense recorded 3 sacks of their own. Montez Sweat had 1.5 sacks. Jonathan Allen had a sack, and Chase Young had half a sack. And that was it for the Washington Commanders. Big win for the Chicago Bears. They get on in the win column. Many said they should have gotten in the win column last week against Denver before they gagged that game away. Next up for Chicago, they will be at home for a 2-game homestand. Their next 2 games will be at home, but the next one will be on Sunday, October the 15th, when they welcome their NFC North Division rivals, the Minnesota Vikings, to Soldier Field. Whereas for the Washington Commanders, after this game, they will be going on the road. They got a 2-game road trip, and they will next be playing on Sunday, October the 15th as well. They'll be heading to Mercedes-Benz Stadium to take on the Atlanta Falcons. So that's the story there. So big win for the Chicago Bears, getting in the win column. They should have won the previous week. This team, for all intents and purposes, should really be 2-3, not 1-4. But they let the Denver game get away from them. They were determined not to let this one get away from them, and they had some extra added motivation with the passing of Dick Butkus, and Dick Butkus most certainly smiling down when he saw what his team did last night. They put up 40 points. DJ Moore, the game of his life. Defense recorded 5 sacks. Also had an interception. He would have been like, way to go, boys. You wanted to honor me? That's the best damn way you could honor me. Well done, guys. So we'll see if they can keep it up against Minnesota on the 15th. So not much more to say here. So MF, come on in. 40-20. The Chicago Bears defeat the Washington Commanders. Defense, 5 sacks and a pick. DJ Moore balling out. 230 yards, 3 touchdowns. That is a stat line if I ever saw one. And there isn't anything left to say except when it comes to the Bears last night, that was their way of saying, this one's for you, Dick Butkus. What a way to honor him.
And that's exactly what they did, because the whole week and the whole time they were hearing all the negativity that this team is a joke, that this team is not great, that this team has failed, and that they're letting Justin Fields' career implode right before our very eyes and not do anything as relevant as they have done in the past. So there's been a lot of negativity, and then the deal with the loss of Dick Butkus on top of that, I think Chicago's like, you know what? Enough is enough. We're sick and tired of hearing the negativity. We're sick and tired of hearing all the BS. We're sick and tired of hearing all this hugabaloo that you got, that you people, meaning us and the media, that you guys were talking about our demise. Well, unfortunately for us, that demise might be greatly exaggerated because of what they did last night. Now, if they can turn this around, keep playing the way that they played like last night, now we might be talking about a monster turnaround for the Chicago Bears. We'll see. And if you're the Washington Commanders, you're absolutely embarrassed right now. Magic Johnson came out and ripped your squad to shreds, calling about a lack of effort, a lack of preparedness for a game like this. I'm gonna say it, guys. I think Ron Rivera might be on the hot seat because of what happened last night. And I know that if you want a winning culture, you gotta be a leader, and I don't see leaders on the Washington Commanders. Now, there was some good play, there was some good moments, but as far as going beyond that, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. So, really nothing more to say. Michael Bullock, I give it to you, my friend.
Yeah, I mean, what can you say? I mean, the Bears did this for Dick Butkus, and they had their best performance of the season up to this point, and yeah, the Bears, they were hearing this before the passing of Dick Butkus, where, like you said, this team was a joke. Justin Fields is a bust. I mean, they should just trade him and all that. But they said, all right, we're done with this. We're about to play our best game of the season. And all I can say is, DJ Moore, you had yourself one hell of a game there, my friend. I mean, whoever had DJ Moore on their fantasy football team, congratulations to you, because you scored some big time points on that one. So, could this be the start of the turnaround for the Bears? We just got to wait and see. But yeah, for the Commanders, not looking good for them. And yeah, Ron Rivera, I think he's on the hot seat, and it's only going to get hotter if the Commanders don't turn this around. And I'm going to go on the record of saying this: if the Commanders lose again next week, I think Ron Rivera is going to be the first coach to get fired during the season. You heard it right here, folks. That's my bold prediction. So, yeah, big win for the Bears. So there's really nothing more to say except let's move on to the rest of the Week 5 slate.
All right, and with that being said, well, first things first. Just to let you folks know, bye weeks. We got the start of bye weeks this week here, guys. Just bear with me for a moment as I get everything. Yes, I mean, bye weeks start this week. We got 4 teams that will be sitting out this week on bye, and they are as follows: the Cleveland Browns, the Los Angeles Chargers, the Seattle Seahawks, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers will be sitting out this week. They will be on bye. So we will not be talking about them this week. We'll be talking about them next week. So with that, guys, let's start it off with the game that came in at number 3 on our side of the ledger this week. The second London game. That'll be kicking off at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time, and a game that you can find on the NFL Network, as it will feature the Jacksonville Jaguars squaring off against my team, the Buffalo Bills, from Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in London, England. And on the call for this game will be Rich Eisen, Kurt Warner, and Jamie Erdahl. They will be there for this one. And just waiting for my spreadsheet to come up here. I know Buffalo is. All right, just want to make sure everything's all set here. Okay. Yep, the Buffalo Bills opening up as just about a touchdown favorite here. So yeah, my thing just disappeared on me. I apologize for that, but this is our first game of the week. Tottenham Hotspur Stadium for Jacksonville and Buffalo. I mean, Buffalo opening up as a 5.5 point favorite. That's what I was looking for there. And Buffalo leads the all-time series 9-7. You remember they met 2 years ago in Jacksonville. Jacksonville upsetting Buffalo 9-6. You remember how very upset I was about that. Last meeting in Buffalo was 2018. Buffalo won 24-21. Jacksonville last won in Buffalo in 2010. Buffalo designated as the home team in this game. So let's get into this. While it's a Bills home game, the Jaguars are on the second of back-to-back weeks in London, which means Jacksonville has the time zone experience advantage. But the Jaguars will be challenged to slow down a Bills offense that's averaging almost 6 yards a play, 4th, while the Jaguars defense is allowing 5.4 yards a play, 22nd. Quarterback Josh Allen will score a touchdown, and so will Jacksonville linebacker Josh Allen. Not a big deal if Buffalo's Allen runs for a touchdown. He has 40 over his career, including 2 this year. But Jacksonville's Allen has just 1 touchdown in his 5-year career, a 37-yard fumble return that gave the Jaguars a 20-16 win over Tennessee Week 18 last year. MF, you and I should know that we had it. Quarterback Josh Allen had 4 touchdown passes last week, the 10th such game in his career. He is tied with Jim Kelly for the most in Bills franchise history. The last quarterback to throw 4 touchdown passes in consecutive games was Cincinnati's Joe Burrow in weeks 16 to 17 in 2021. X factors: Jaguars cornerbacks Tyson Campbell and Darius Williams. Jacksonville has a strong run defense, and if these two corners, who both have allowed lower than average yards per coverage snap this season, according to NFL Next Gen stats, can slow down the Bills' passing attack, the Jaguars have a chance. The Jaguars' defense allows the second most fantasy points to tight ends. Rookie tight end Dalton Kincaid didn't have a great game against Miami, but he did catch 4 of 5 targets for 27 yards. He ran more routes and was more involved in the passing game than Dawson Knox. The stage is set for Kincaid to have a breakout performance. Jacksonville coach Doug Peterson is 32-23 against the spread in his career as an underdog, including playoffs. He is 9-6 against the spread as an underdog to the Buffalo Bills. The FPI loves Buffalo in this one. Almost 80% going with the Buffalo Bills. I'm going with the Buffalo Bills to win as well. I think it will be a close game, but I think Buffalo will pull away late. I can see them putting it away with a late score. So I'm going to say 33-20, the Buffalo Bills defeat the Jacksonville Jaguars in London, keep their hot streak going. So there isn't much more to say except MF. Time for you to face the music, bud. Buffalo Bills literally took it to the Miami Dolphins last week, 48-20. And I know I'm probably not going to get a "Let's Go Buffalo" or a Bills Mafia out of you, but nonetheless, all kidding aside, Jacksonville and Buffalo, number 3 game of the week on our side of the ledger, in London. Buffalo going to London, and let me tell you, Bills Mafia has invaded London. If you haven't seen the images already, whoa!
Yeah, no, they came out in full force. They're ready to go. I don't think London's prepared for Buffalo. I don't think they're ready for the Buffalo fans. That's all I'm gonna say about that. But I will have to word of caution, Anthony Florio. Do not get too big because of your bridges. Yes, you laid down the woodwork on the Dolphins, but do not. Huh?
Not getting ahead of myself.
But do not get ahead of yourself. That was what happened with the Dolphin fans. They got ahead of themselves because of the fact that they were 3-0. They got all big, thinking, we're that our offense. But after we hung that 70 on the Broncos, and that here we are. Now we're the class of the AFC, and we got a hard dose of reality that got thrown at us by Buffalo on Sunday. And now I'm hearing the same thing about Buffalo. The same thing. Oh, they're the favorites in the AFC now. They're back. They're this. They're that. Be careful, because that's how you lose a game. Because you start to hear all the love from the media. You start to hear all the love from everybody else. And what happens? Somebody else comes around and they'll smack you in the face and knock you down a peg or two. I would love to see Jacksonville do that to Buffalo in London at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. But honestly and truthfully, I don't think it's going to happen. I would love to see it happen. I would love to see Buffalo get humbled and knocked down a peg, because that would be that's what I would straight up call karma. Because that's what you guys probably need right now. But I will say that Buffalo wins this game, and I'm gonna say it's gonna be pretty close. Well, not close, but I got a 30-13 victory for the Buffalo Bills. So, Michael Bullock, I give it to you.
Yeah, and what did I say, guys? I mean, when it came to this game, I was that Bills-Dolphins game, that I worried that there was going to be a little bit of a hangover for the Dolphins, and that's what we saw. And the Bills basically just came out and basically said, we own this division, and until you dethrone us, we're still kings of that division.
We're still here, baby. We're still here, man.
Yeah, they basically sent that message to the Miami Dolphins. But like you said, you got to be careful, because there could be a hangover this week for the Bills, but I'm with the majority here. I don't see it happening. This Bills team, I think, is too focused. I mean, Jacksonville will hang in there, but I just think Bills will pull away at the end. So I'm going to make it unanimous and go with the Buffalo Bills as well. So let's move on to the next game.
And one other thing about Buffalo, and that is there's a very good chance Von Miller's coming back. And if that happens, business is going to damn sure pick up.
Well, you're going to need him because Tre'Davious White is lost for the season. He tore his Achilles against the Miami Dolphins. So you're going to need some help on that defensive side. So if Von Miller is playing, that will neutralize. What that does is that adds another weapon to the front four, and that actually might be better because you're going to have to shadow defensively because that linebacking core and that secondary, they might be exposed because Tre'Davious White was a major piece of that puzzle, and you just lost it, Florio. So it's a good thing that Von Miller is coming back when he is coming back.
And it could be this Sunday morning. He could be ready. So let's hope so. So, but anyways, moving on. Cross flex game here, a game you would normally see on CBS because it's AFC at NFC, but it's on Fox this time around as we get into the 1 p.m. games now. We got the Houston Texans squaring off against the Atlanta Falcons in a sleeper matchup here. Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. You can find this game over on Fox, and on the call for that one will be Brandon Gaudin, Mark Schlereth, and Christina Pink. And it is Atlanta. Atlanta opening up as a 1.5-point favorite.
And a quick reminder, Florio, to the reminders of the fans, normally this is where you see Adam Amin, but he's got some commitments to the baseball playoffs over on Fox.
Yes, he will be working the American League Division Series between the Minnesota Twins and the Houston Astros. So, which gets underway tomorrow at Minute Maid Park in Houston as the Astros open up defense of their World Series championship. So, very exciting time of the year, friends, to say the very least. We'll get into that another day, but for right now, Houston leads the all-time series 3-2. They last met in 2019 in Houston. Houston won a wild game, 53-32. Last meeting in Atlanta was 2015. Atlanta won going away, 48-21. Houston has never won in Atlanta. Matter of fact, all 5 times these teams have met, the home team has won every game. So this game's in Atlanta. Might the trend continue? Good old MF Michael Fletcher, started with you. Will that trend continue? Home team has won every game when these teams have met. They've met 5 times before. Home teams won every time. Home teams 5 for 5. Do they make it 6? Does Atlanta make it 6 for 6?
I gotta say no. I don't know what it is. This Houston Texans team is. You know what? I gotta say it, man. CJ Stroud is that guy. He's him. He's been amazing. He's been incredible. I love what I've seen from him. And D'Amico Ryan, my goodness, man, what a coaching job you have done up to this point. You've been a pleasant surprise. Your defense has been a lot good. You absolutely beat the brakes off the Pittsburgh Steelers, made me look like an idiot, made Anthony Florio look like an idiot, made Michael Bullock look like an idiot. I don't think none of us thought Houston was going to be that good. And all of a sudden, you're tied for the division lead. And I'm going to say it, gentlemen. I think Houston's going to be there at the end. I don't think they're going to win the division. But the way this is going right now, I think the Houston Texans are going to be a major threat to win that division. I think that division's more wide open than we thought it was going to be, and this is opening my eyes to a lot of things. Houston's been playing so damn good. I'm not really sold on Atlanta, though. I don't think Atlanta has what it takes to win this game. I can't believe I'm going to do this. Give me the Houston Texans to win it and break the jinx. A road team is going to win this game for the first time in the series. So I got the Houston Texans winning. Michael Bullock, I give it to you.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, I'm going with the Texans as well. I mean, I can't believe I'm saying that, but CJ Stroud has turned into be. I mean, I think he's their guy. I mean, I mean, we didn't know what to expect when the Texans drafted him, but I think he's turned out to be what the Texans expected. And D'Amico Ryans has done a really good job as the coach, and he seems to be pushing all the right buttons. And I'm not really sold on Atlanta, so I'm actually going to go with the Houston Texans as well. So it's yours, Florio.
Atlanta's home road splits with Desmond Ritter at quarterback are stark. 4-0 and completing 68% of his passes with 4 touchdowns and 1 interception at home. 0-4 with a 59% completion rate, 1 touchdown and 2 interceptions on the road. That will be an interesting thing to watch since the Texans have allowed quarterbacks to complete passes at a high clip, 72% when they're on the road, although they've given up only 1 passing touchdown. The Falcons' passing attack will be held to under 110 yards and will turn the ball over multiple times. The Texans are one of 6 teams with more interceptions, 3, than passing touchdowns allowed, 2, and pressure quarterbacks on 44% of their dropbacks, 3rd highest rate. Ritter has been sacked 16 times, 4th most in the NFL, and the Falcons average the fewest passing yards a game at 156. Houston quarterback C.J. Stroud has thrown no interceptions in his first 151 passing attempts, 3rd most passing attempts without an interception to begin a career in NFL history. Dallas's Dak Prescott has the most at 176, and Miami's Tua Tagovailoa 2nd most at 152. Stroud will face Jesse Bates III, who has collected 3 interceptions this season, tied for the most in the NFL. The X factor, Desmond Ritter. He has just a 29 QBR this season, and that's nowhere near good enough to get the Atlanta offense going. The Falcons need more from him if they are going to beat a frisky Texans team. The Texans defense has done an excellent job containing wide receivers, allowing the 6th fewest fantasy points a game to the position. They do, however, give up the 7th most fantasy points a game to running backs, so expect the Falcons to double down on the running game. Falcons are 0-3 against the spread in their last 3 games. Slight favorite to Atlanta. FPI slightly likes Atlanta here. 53% going with Atlanta. But you know what, boys? I'm with you. I'm going to make it unanimous. I'm going to go with the Houston Texans to win this game as well. I'm going to say 24. I'm going to go 24-23. I think Houston can do it. I mean, they've proven to be the early surprise so far this season. So not much more to say. Houston wins. So let's go on to our next game, as it will feature the Carolina Panthers squaring off against the Detroit Lions from Ford Field in Detroit, Michigan, on Fox. And on the call for this game will be Chris Myers, Daryl Moose Johnston, and Pam Oliver. It's obvious it's another baseball playoff thing. Chris Myers sitting in for Joe Davis because Joe Davis works with Daryl Moose Johnston and Pam Oliver. And Joe Davis will be joining John Smoltz and Ken Rosenthal for the other American League Division Series between the Texas Rangers and the Baltimore Orioles. That starts tomorrow afternoon at Camden Yards in Houston, or I should say in Baltimore, rather. So, but anyways, Chris Myers will be sitting in for Joe Davis along with Daryl Moose Johnston and Pam Oliver for the Carolina Panthers and the Detroit Lions at Ford Field. And Detroit opening up as a 10-point favorite, guys. 10-point favorite for the Lions. Carolina, however, leads the all-time series 8-3. Carolina's won the last 2 meetings, including last year in Charlotte, 37-23. Last meeting in Detroit, 2018. Detroit won 20-19. Carolina's last win in Detroit was the year before, 2017, 27-24. Michael Bullock, started with you here. Detroit at home against the winless Carolina Panthers at Ford Field, 3-1. They have first place in the NFC North after their impressive performance against Green Bay last Thursday night. Can they keep that momentum going against Carolina, where they open up as a 10-point favorite? That's the biggest spread I've heard for them in a long time.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, I mean, this Lions team continues to really impress me, and yeah, I mean, I think they could be a threat in that NFC North, and you know what? I mean, I expect that momentum for them to continue because I am going with the Detroit Lions to win this one. I think it's going to be an easy one. I'm going to say my final score will. Yeah, I actually got the Detroit Lions winning this one. I have no faith in that Carolina team. So, yeah, there's really nothing more to say. Florio, it's yours.
The Panthers are still looking for their first win of the season, but will have to slow down a potent Lions offense to get it. Detroit's offense has scored at least 20 points in 13 straight games, which is tied for the longest streak in franchise history going back to 1995, and could get another boost with the return of wide receiver Jamison Williams, whose suspension for violating the NFL's gambling policy was reduced last week. Carolina's defense has allowed at least 20 points in every game this season. Detroit quarterback Jared Goff will pass for a season-high 350 yards and 4 touchdowns. The Panthers will tighten up their porous run defense. However, they won't be able to pressure Goff, who is going against a secondary that's missing 2 starters in cornerback J.C. Horn and safety Xavier Woods, and could be down a third if cornerback Dante Jackson with a shoulder doesn't play. Lions tight end Sam Laporta has 22 receptions this season, third among rookies and third among tight ends. With 3 catches on Sunday, he will be the third tight end with 25 catches in the first 5 games of his career since 1950, joining Keith Jackson, who had 29 in 1988, and Jordan Reed, who had 26 in 2013. The X Factor, there's multiple X Factors. Carolina Panthers wide receivers DJ Shark Jr., Jonathan Mingo, and Terrace Marshall Jr. Carolina simply needs more out of its wideouts, aside from Adam Thielen, to support slow-starting quarterback Bryce Young. Mingo and Marshall are in the bottom 5 in the receiver tracking metrics overall score among wide receivers. Shark hasn't played enough to qualify. No team this season has eclipsed 90 yards rushing against Detroit, which has held opponents to 243 total. That's total rushing yards, 243 total. The Panthers could rely heavily on Hayden Hurst, Thielen, and Shark on Sunday. Against tight ends, the Lions defense gives up the 4th most fantasy points. Panthers coach Frank Reich is 5-2-1 against the spread in his career as at least a 6-point underdog. FPI loves Detroit in here. 77% going with the Detroit Lions. I'm going with the Detroit Lions as well. 30-14, Detroit all over Carolina. MF, how about them Lions?
Yeah, this is going to be this should be one of the easier picks this week. If you have a survival pick, I would probably put my money on Detroit here. I don't think there's much to talk about here, so give me Detroit to win pretty comfortably. Anthony, let's go on to the next game.
All right, and we go back to our side of the ledger, and this is our number 5 game of the week here. AFC South Division implications in this one. We got the Tennessee Titans squaring off against the Indianapolis Colts from Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis, Indiana. You can find this game over on CBS. It'll be Spiro Ditas, Adam Archuleta, and Amanda Renner on the call. And the spread favors Tennessee. Tennessee opening up as a 2-point favorite in this one. And the series history between these two longtime divisional rivals. All right, it's coming up. All right, here we go. It favors the Indianapolis. Indianapolis leads the all-time series 35-21. However, Tennessee has won the last 5 meetings in a row against the Colts, including 19-10 in Indianapolis last year. Tennessee did. The Colts have not beaten the Titans at home since 2018. 2018, the last time Indianapolis defeated Tennessee at home. That was a 38-10 final. Tennessee has won the last 4 meetings in Indianapolis. So not much more to say. Let's get in here. The Titans have won 5 straight meetings with the Colts and 6 of the last 7 between the teams. The Colts' last win in the series came on November 12th, 2020, with Phillip Rivers as their quarterback. Additionally, the Colts have now lost 7 consecutive games at home. Their last win at Lucas Oil Stadium coming on October 16th of 2022 against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Tennessee wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins will record his first 100-yard receiving game for the Titans. Hopkins' 65 yards against New Orleans in Week 1 has been his best outing. But the Colts' pass defense has allowed 264 yards a game through 4 games this season. Indianapolis will be without starting cornerback Dallas Flowers, so Hopkins will have a prime opportunity to take advantage of the matchup against a reserve corner on one side and rookie Juju Brents on the other. But he'll face a bigger challenge in the slot against Kenny Moore II. The Titans have scored fewer than 30 points in 22 straight games, the longest active streak in the NFL, and tied for the longest streak in franchise history, 22 straight from 1966 to 1967. The X Factor, Colts running back Jonathan Taylor. He's a true X Factor in the sense that we don't know what his role will be Sunday, but he can charge up the Colts ground game if he plays a significant amount and is the 2021 version of himself. Titans defense has allowed wide receivers the 9th most fantasy points a game this season. Michael Pittman Jr. has averaged about 10 targets and 14 fantasy points a game in 6 career games against Tennessee. Titans have covered 5 straight meetings. FPI likes Tennessee, 56% going with Tennessee. And you know what? I'm going with Tennessee as well. My final score, I'm going to go 24-21. Tennessee defeats Indianapolis. So not much more to say here, MF. Tennessee and Indianapolis, number 5 game of the week on our side of the ledger. Big implications in the AFC South.
Yeah, big implications, absolutely. I got to go with the Tennessee Titans as well. I kind of feel like right now, Indy's kind of all over the place. We don't know what we're going to get from that. Tennessee's been pretty consistent. You know, there's been a couple of games where they've been really, really good. There's been moments where they haven't really been that great. I got Tennessee winning, so Michael Bullock, I'll give it to you.
Yeah, I got the Tennessee Titans winning this one as well. I mean, basically, like you said, they've been more consistent, and the Colts. I mean, we don't know what to expect out of the Colts, especially with the returning Jonathan Taylor. So we'll see what happens. But either way, I got Tennessee winning this one. So let's move on.
Okay, here we go. All right, MF, here you go. Next up, 1 o'clock game. This is on Fox, and it will feature the New York Giants squaring off against good old MF Michael Fletcher's team, the Miami Dolphins. Hard Rock Stadium in Miami. You can find this game over on Fox. So Fox will have this one, and on the call for that game will be Kenny Albert, Jonathan Vilma, and Shannon Spake. And the Dolphins. Oh, Miami. Miami opening up as an 11-point favorite. 11-point spread for the Miami Dolphins, and rightfully so. And just give me a moment here as I try to find this here. All right, here we go. Dolphins and Giants. The Giants actually lead the all-time series with Miami 7-3. However, Miami did win the last meeting 2 years ago, 2021, in Miami. Dolphins won 20-9, snapping a 4-game losing streak to the Giants. The Giants, their last win in Miami was 2015. Giants won 31-24. So, MF, it's only fitting we start off with you here. You're pissed off. The Dolphins are pissed off. Your Dolphin family, Eric Carrier, and the rest of your Dolphin family, I know all your friends over at Stevie D's, I know they're all fuming after what the Buffalo Bills did to you last week. I'm not. But nonetheless, I know you are. And I know you're going to be looking for a great squash of you some Giants.
Oh, man. I mean, I think the best thing that happened for Miami was that beatdown, that embarrassing performance, because now Miami can focus and zero in on the job at hand. Now we don't have to worry about Super Bowl expectations. Right now, all the Dolphins have been saying is, look, Buffalo's got to come to us. We'll see them later in the year. Hopefully the AFC title is still on the line when we get there. So trust me, we got our minds still on the AFC title, on the AFC Eastern Division title. And we're deep down, we're thinking, all right, we took a loss, that's fine. But now we are back and we're focused at home and against a New York Giant team that is a complete and utter mess. No goofing around, no screwing around. Handle your business, and let's get right back to the ship. Offensive line had a bad night. We need to fix that. That will be fixed. There's no problem with that. Tua, consequently, Tua had a good game. He did. He had a couple of good games. Yes, the sacks were bad. He had one bad interception that he should not have thrown. All right, we get it. He's superhuman. He's not a machine. He's not a robot. The thing is that Tua had an interception against the Patriots. He threw an interception against Buffalo. I think we could lay off on the trigger. He still is one of the best quarterbacks this year. He's been upright. He hasn't gotten hurt. They've been playing amazing up to this point. Now, as far as going beyond that, we're going to have to wait and see how this plays out. All we know is that it is going to be one thing and one thing only. This will be Miami's. You want to talk about a coming out, a return to fire? That's exactly what this is going to be. A return to fire, back to normal, everything else. This is a game that, if you're a Dolphin fan, this is going to be a get-right game. This is exactly a get-right game. And on top of that, to take on the New York Giants, I mean, the football guys could not have given us a better opponent to take our frustrations out, because that's exactly what we're going to do. So they gave us the perfect team who is sputtering out of control, who's basically in a worse shape than Miami is. Miami took a butt kicking, but the Giants, oofa, what they've been looking like lately. So, no, we're good. We're fine. We're back, better than ever. You're going to see the Miami Dolphins back on Sunday, and it's not even going to be close, boys. 45-7, Miami wins. Yeah, I'm putting a 40 burger on this one because I think the offense is going to explode. Bullock, it's yours.
Oh yeah, it's definitely going to be a holiday ham job on the Giants, because you know the Dolphins are pissed off at that performance against the Bills last week, and I think this is as we would like to call it, the perfect bounce back, or as we like to say, get right game here for the Dolphins. So Dolphins win a laugher. It's yours, Florio.
The Giants rank dead last in rate of pass attempts with a sack allowed at 17.2%. Meanwhile, the Dolphins have generated sacks on just 6.7% of opponents' dropbacks. Dolphins players and coaches have publicly stated that Sunday is not a get-right game. But Miami's defense has an opportunity to right the ship against a reeling Giants offensive line. The Dolphins' high-flying offense will never take off against the Giants and will be held to under 24 points. Keep in mind, this is a bold prediction, not from me, but this is a bold prediction that I wanted to share with all of you. The Dolphins' high-flying offense will never take off against the Giants and will be held at under 24 points. New York played its best defensive game Monday night and is sixth in the NFL with a 52% pass rush win rate. It will have some success creating havoc against the Miami offensive line that will be missing left tackle Teron Armstead. Miami quarterback Tua Tagovailoa ranks first in yards per attempt on throws with motion, on quick throws under 2.5 seconds, and on passes between the numbers. The Giants' defense ranks 24th or worse in all of those areas this season. The X factor, Dolphins tackle Kendall Lamb. Lamb has filled in for the injured Teron Armstead admirably with a 96% pass block win rate. Miami needs him to keep it up to keep Tua Tagovailoa upright. The Giants' opponents have rushed for the 8th most yards per game. The Dolphins lead the league with 177 rushing yards a game. It's again a good week to start a Miami running back. Giants are 0-4 against the spread this season. FPI loves Miami MF to the tune of 87%, going with the Miami Dolphins. Dolphins in a rout. This is not even going to be close. 42-17, the Miami Dolphins all over the New York Giants. And we go from MF's team to Michael Bullock's team. So, Bullock, it's your turn next. As we will see we move on to what will be the number 6 game of the week on our side of the ledger, as it will be the New Orleans Saints squaring off against Michael Bullock's New England Patriots from Gillette Stadium in Foxborough. Game on CBS, and on the call for this one, Kevin Harlan, Trent Green, and Melanie Collins. And the spread favors New England, but not by much, Bullock. New England opening up as only a 1-point favorite. It's a 1-point spread for New England. This is almost basically a pick'em game if you really think about it. Series history between these two favors the New England Patriots. New England leads the all-time series 10-5. However, New Orleans won the last meeting 2 years ago in Foxborough. New Orleans won 28-13, snapping a 2-game losing streak to the Patriots. Patriots' last home win against New Orleans, 2013. Bullock, I know you remember it very well. 30-27. Tom Brady, Ken Burrell Tompkins, Scott Zolak, one of the greatest moments of his legendary Hall of Fame career.
Unicorns! Show ponies! Where's the beef?
We all remember one of the many great sound bites of the great Scott Zolak. No question about it. So that's the history there. So Bullock, come on in. It's your turn now. It's your team. The New England Patriots at home in Foxborough, hosting the New Orleans Saints. But last week, I know was a week you want to forget after what Dallas did to you. Yikes.
Oof. Yeah, it was a game that every New England fan's going to want to forget. I mean, we just got holiday hammed by the Dallas Cowboys. Too many mistakes, and we've had some big-time injuries to 2 key players. Rookie Christian Gonzalez lost for the season, and Matthew Judon, who's going to miss a really good amount of time. I don't know if he's going to be back this season. Oh, man, this is my team. I'm sticking by my team, no matter how good or how bad they are, but I don't know, man. I mean, like I said, I want the Patriots to win, but with the injuries and the inconsistencies on offense, I'm sorry, but professionally, I got to go with the New Orleans Saints to win this one. I mean, I would not be surprised if New England somehow pulls it off, but until I see something from this team that's going to make me feel like they're going to win, I just can't buy it. But as a fan, I want the Patriots to win, but professionally, I got to go with the Saints. Sorry, it's yours, Florio.
I know that's hard for you, Bullock, but But anywho,
hey, just like you, Florio, I got to be the man that tells it like it is.
Absolutely. The Patriots in here, in my sheet here. The Patriots rank 30th in scoring average, 13.8, and the Saints 15.5 are tied for 25th. One major issue for the Patriots has been their turnover differential, -5, which ranks 27th in the NFL. One major issue for the Saints has been their red zone offense, which ranks last in the NFL with just 4 touchdowns and 12 trips. The Saints will force 2 turnovers against the Patriots. While New Orleans' offense has struggled, the defense has been able to capitalize multiple times, getting an interception in 3 of 4 games and forcing a fumble in the 1 game without a pick. Patriots quarterback Mac Jones has thrown 4 interceptions this season, and the Saints are poised to get center Paulson Adebo back from injury, which could mean a prime opportunity for them. The Patriots have the worst pass block win rate in the NFL, 39.7%, and Mac Jones is struggling throwing downfield. He's 0 for 12 on passes of 25-plus yards. The X factor, new Patriots cornerback J.C. Jackson. Which Jackson will New England get? The player who was a standout for the Patriots for years, or the one who was a liability for the Los Angeles Chargers? The variance is high here and could matter quite a bit, given the Patriots' banged-up secondary. The Saints' defensive front allows only 103.3 rushing yards a game. There is a good chance that New England's running game will get back on track sooner than later, but it is unlikely to happen against the Saints. Saints coach Dennis Allen is 21, 35, and 1 against the spread in his career. Out of coaches with at least 50 games in the Super Bowl era, he has the worst cover percentage. FPI slightly likes New England here, 54% going with New England, but Bullock is right. I can't go with New England here. I got to go with New Orleans. I'm gonna say 20. I'm actually gonna go 17-14, but nonetheless, I have the New Orleans Saints winning this game. So not much more to say here. MF, New Orleans, and New England in Gillette. Your thoughts?
Yeah, this is a dangerous game. This is going to be wild, to say the very least. Any other time, I just don't know about New England, man. I mean, New England, like a couple of games here, they're Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, and then what they did last week, I mean, oh my God, man. I mean, I've never, ever heard so many Patriot fans dumping on this team. It's like you know what? I'm going to say this, and I even talked to a couple of the 2184 crew members. I'm about to say something that I know I'm going to piss off Michael Bullock, and I'm going to piss off a lot of Patriot fans, but I don't care. It needs to be said. A lot of you New England Patriot fans do not know about the tough years that the Patriots used to play in back in the day, especially in the early 90s and everything else. You are the epitome of having everything served you guys on a silver platter and never got to deal with the hardship, the toughness, the damage, the heartache, the volatility of the team, how bad it's been in the last few years. I remember the early 90s, the late 80s, early 90s, when the Patriots were horrible, like god-awful teams, like almost the worst in the NFL level. So I think it's humbling that they're getting this horrible spiel that they're going through right now, because that lets the real Patriot fans know that, hey, we've been here before. We know what this is like. You know the team's not that good. You know that things are not going great. But I'm hearing people out in the media, well, not media, but Patriot fans, asking for Bill Belichick to be fired. Are you flipping kidding me? Bill Belichick, oh, by the way, the greatest coach in NFL history, the greatest coach of the New England Patriots era, and trust me, as a Miami Dolphin fan, I'm going to even admit it. This guy's got my utmost respect and the utmost thing. And oh, by the way, Bill Belichick, 18 wins away from the all-time record of most wins by a freaking head coach in the National freaking Football League. Woo. I mean, what the flip is going on when I'm hearing stupid Patriot fans asking for Bill Belichick to be fired? You are idiots. You don't know crap about football. Go in a hole and stick your stinking head in the freaking ground, you morons. I have nothing to say. This is why Patriot fans suck. You guys are the biggest hypocrites I ever known in my freaking life. This is why I don't like Patriot fans, because you are stupid, idiotic, and deserve all the losing that you're getting right now. I have nothing to say to you guys. So, yes, New Orleans wins. Nothing more to say. Florio, go.
Wow. Damn.
I don't know what to say. Damn.
That is the most cerebral Viper mode I have ever seen in a long, long time. But
Yowza.
You know what? I'm going to say this, Florio, and I'm with Fletch on this one. I mean, look, I'm a Patriots fan. I stay loyal to my team, and I
Good for you.
still am to
Good for
this
you.
very day, whether
Yeah.
they win or they lose. And the thing that I hate that really irks me so much is fair weather Patriots fans, or as I like to say, fake Patriot fans who are used to so much winning, and then all of a sudden the team's losing, like, oh, we're not going to follow this team anymore. Or they say, oh, fire Bill Belichick. Kraft needs to sell the damn team. You know what? If you think for one freaking second that firing Bill Belichick, who, in my opinion, is the greatest coach of all time, if you think for one second that firing the coach is going to solve all the problems, you guys are out of your freaking mind. And I'm calling out those quote unquote fake Patriot fans, and even those especially people at WEEI. Yes, I'm talking to you, Adam Jones. I mean, you're the host of your show, Jones and Mago. And I've heard him come out and say, and Fletch, you're hearing this right now. I've heard Adam Jones at WEEI saying Belichick needs to be fired. I mean, he is out of his bleeping mind. He's out of his mind. I mean, Fletch, answer this. Do you think getting rid of Bill Belichick is going to solve all the problems here?
No. And here's the other thing I want to address. And the thing is this. I'm actually appreciative of Robert Kraft for staying with the course and staying with Bill Belichick because of everything he done. This is why certain teams I got utmost respect about. The Pittsburgh Steelers has 3 head coaches in their lifetime since the Rooney family took over. Chuck Noll, Bill Cowher, and Mike Tomlin. The reason why Tomlin is not fired is because Pittsburgh continues to work and produce and play and everything else. And despite what the fan base wants, it's a family culture. It is family. They love their players. They love their coaches. They love their people because they're not going to fire them. And that's why I got the utmost respect for Mr. Robert Kraft. Because Kraft could easily fall for this trap and fire Bill Belichick. But he won't. Because he's got so much loyalty and so much respect for Bill Belichick that he's not going to do it. I don't think he should. I think he should let Belichick go. And if Belichick retires, then you find yourself a new head coach. But this guy deserves to be the head coach of the New England Patriots for life, for everything that this man has done for your team.
And there's some people out on radio who said that Belichick's on the hot seat. You know what? Get the you know what out with that nonsense.
Yeah, well, again, these are the morons that is basically because of the fact that the Patriots has had it so great for so many years. I mean, I'm gonna say it, Anthony. I don't want to be too evil here, but I feel like this is like the New York Yankee effect because you grew up when the Yankees were at the top. And now you're starting to feel the harsh reality that, hey, this wasn't as easy as it looked. This isn't as great as it's been. But the thing is, your New York Yankees, they never fired their manager. As much as I know certain people want to see certain guys get thrown out, but they're still there. And the thing is that their ownership group believes that they could still win with the manager that they got, with everything that they believe in. That's why I have respect for those New York Yankee management because they don't listen to the what have you done for me lately. Many times in NFL, in sports, you worry about winning too much that there is no loyalty to anything or anyone anymore. And that's one of the reasons why I got so pissed off about the New England Patriots, because it's the fan base that makes me sick. It's the fan base that makes me nauseous. It's the fan base that makes me want to bang my head up against the stupid wall. And no, it's not because of Michael Bullock. Hell, I'll even say it. It's not because of Derek Ferrera, because they're real fans. They get it. They've been through the good times. They've been through the horrible times. They've been through the times when their team sucked and stunk and everything else.
And I stick with my team no matter how good or how bad they are.
Exactly.
That's what a real fan is. And that's what I'm going to be.
And the other thing is, and look, I'll even give it for Derek Ferrera, because I know there's been times where he has shot off. He's never shot off about the Patriots. He's always been about the Cowboys. But you know what? The Cowboys have higher standards. The Patriots have won so many times. So for Bill Belichick to feel that kind of heat right now, I mean, okay, it's fine. But the thing is that there's an expectation. There's everything that you want to do. And the thing is, they've been there. They've won. They have 6 Super Bowl championship rings. That's more than I think they're tied for the most championships than any other team in the National Football League. The one that's with them is the Pittsburgh Steelers. They got 6. So, I mean, what the hell do you want? So that's why I needed it to rant and rave and everything else. And if I jumped off the deep end or crossed the line, I apologize. But I needed it to get this off my chest.
And the other thing is, and here's another thing. I mean, I hate these quote unquote fake Patriot fans who act like this. It makes me sick to my freaking stomach. And I'm gonna send a message to those quote unquote fake Patriot fans. When you jump off that bandwagon and then someday that they're relevant again and competing for Super Bowls, you know what I'm gonna say to you guys? Get the F off and stay off the bandwagon, because you're not true Patriot fans. Done, finish, Florio, go.
All right, let's reel it in here, guys. All right. One early game left, and it's a big one here. It's our number 2 game of the week on our side of the ledger, and this is huge implications in the AFC North. First place in the division of the winner here, and a renewal of one of the great rivalries in recent years. We got the Baltimore Ravens squaring off against the Pittsburgh Steelers from Acrisure Stadium, formerly Heinz Field in Pittsburgh. Iron Eagle, Charles Davis and Evan Washburn will be on the call for CBS. And the spread favors Baltimore. Baltimore opening up as a 4-point favorite. Pittsburgh leads the all-time series 30-24. Hang on, let me double check that. Yep, Pittsburgh leads the all-time series 30-24. They split last year, both teams winning on the road. So Baltimore won in Pittsburgh last year, 16-14. Pittsburgh's last home win against Baltimore was the year before, 2021. That was a 20-19 final. So here we go, guys. Despite sustaining a bone bruise to his left knee against the Texans, Steelers quarterback Kenny Pickett says he'll be ready to play Sunday. Pickett hasn't had a great start to the season, with a 29.3 QBR through 4 games, ranking 29th. But in last year's Week 17 win against the Ravens, he recorded an 82.5 QBR, his highest of the season. Bouncing back against the Ravens defense, though, was a tall task. The Ravens have allowed opposing quarterbacks to complete just 61% of passes, and they've recorded 15 sacks, second most in the NFL. Ravens quarterback Lamar Jackson will toss 4 touchdown passes for the first time since September of 2022. Steelers are the only team that Jackson has thrown more interceptions, 6, than touchdown passes, 4, against in his 6-year career. But Pittsburgh has allowed 8 touchdown passes this season, which is the 4th most in the league. Jackson has completed 74.3% of his passes this season, second best percentage in the NFL. He could become the first starting quarterback to complete 70% of his passes in each of his team's first 5 games, since Derek Carr did it in Las Vegas in 2020. The X factor is Ravens wide receiver Zay Flowers. The receiver tracking metrics make Flowers look like a hit so far. His 77 open score ranks 8th among wide receivers in 2023. That's a big help to the Ravens offense. Steelers defense has allowed some superb performances to number one receivers. Las Vegas's Devontae Adams, Houston's Nico Collins, San Francisco's Brandon Ayuk, and Cleveland's Amari Cooper averaged 31.7 fantasy points against Pittsburgh. Flowers leads Baltimore with 29 targets. Steelers are 51, 29, and 3 against the spread as underdogs under coach Mike Tomlin. Best record in the NFL in that span. Tomlin is 43 and 40 outright as an underdog. FPI loves Baltimore here, 72% going with Baltimore. I'm going with Baltimore. Close game, as it always is with these two. I say Baltimore finds a way to get it done. They'll steal it here. I'm going to say 21-17. Baltimore defeats Pittsburgh and stays atop the AFC North. So not much more to say. MF, number 2 game of the week on our end here. Baltimore and Pittsburgh. We know the rivalry. We've done a lot of these over the years. And here they are again. First place in the AFC North to the winner. Sole possession of first in the AFC North to the winner. So, and MF, if not for the big game that we have, this would have been our game right here. We would have added another chapter to all the great Ravens-Steeler games we've done over the years. But nonetheless, MF, here you go. Baltimore, Pittsburgh, number 2 game of the week. AFC North implications to the winner. So, MF, whenever you're ready. All right, there he is. All right, MF. Like I said, if not for the big game we have, this would have been our game. And how many of these games have we done?
Oh my gosh, so many. And how many times have you lost? Like, I know. I'm kind of trying to catch my breath after my little rant. How many times have you lost you lost your breath or anything else doing your screaming Anthony Florio moments? How many times have you gone through that realm?
Especially in this rivalry? A lot.
Oh my God, a lot. So yeah,
big implications here, man. AFC North for the winner.
Oh yeah, most definitely big implications. But I gotta go with the Baltimore Ravens to win it though, because I don't know. I kind of feel like you said with Pittsburgh, I'm a little concerned here. So with the Kenny Pickett game, with everything that's been going on, I feel like this is their moment. So I got really nothing more to say. I'm gonna say it. I think Baltimore wins, and Mike Bullock, I give it to you.
Yeah, I got Baltimore winning this one as well. I see them once again getting the best of the Pittsburgh Steelers here. So yeah, Baltimore wins. So let's move on to the late afternoon games.
All right. So, all right, that's right. That's right. I started it. All right. Late afternoon games. We have, I believe, 3 of them. Actually, no, we got 4. Both networks have 2 apiece. We have 2 4:05 games on Fox and 2 4:25 games on CBS. Let's get into our Fox games. 2 games at 4:05. First one, a zonk, if you really think about it. Cincinnati Bengals squaring off against the Arizona Cardinals, State Farm Stadium, formerly the University of Phoenix Stadium in Glendale, Arizona. You can find this game over on Fox, and it'll be Kevin Kugler, Mark Sanchez, and Laura Oakman on the call for that one. And Cincinnati opening up as a 3-point favorite. The series history is tied. Series tied 6-6. So whoever wins will take the lead in this series. Arizona has won the last 2 meetings in this series. Last meeting, 2019 in Cincinnati, Arizona won 26-23. Their last meeting in Arizona, 2015. Arizona won a wild one, 34-31. Cincinnati last beat Arizona in 2011. That was in Cincinnati. Actually, I believe all 6 Bengal home wins were at home. Cincinnati has never won in Arizona. They've never won at the Cardinals. So that's something to think about there. So, MF, I'm sorry to do it to you, but you start off on this one. Cincinnati and Arizona leading off the late games here.
I think the way you kind of have to feel it goes a couple of ways. Arizona, after what they did to Dallas a couple of weeks ago, it opened the eyes on a lot of people. And then for Cincinnati, I don't know how you're gonna feel about the game or what the situation's gonna look like. But I will say this: it is going to be an interesting situation because you don't know what's gonna happen down the line. So at the end of the day, is it Cincinnati that's gonna be better? Is Arizona gonna be? There's a number of situations where this is gonna go. I don't know how this is going to look, but it's going to be a very interesting matchup, to say the very least. So we'll see how it plays out. Um, I'm going to go Cincinnati by maybe a close margin because Arizona has opened my eyes. And if Cincinnati does not watch themselves, they could be like the Dallas Cowboys. We could have a massive upset on our hands. So nothing more to say. Anthony Florio, Michael Bullock, it is all yours.
Yeah, I got to go with Cincinnati as well, but yeah, I think they'll barely hang on here and beat the Cardinals. I think the Cardinals will give Cincinnati some fits, but I think in the end they'll pull away and win it. So Cincinnati wins. It's yours, Florio.
All right. With the exception of last week against San Francisco 49ers quarterback Brock Purdy, the Cardinals have been quite good against quarterbacks in first halves this season, holding Washington's Sam Howell, New York Giants' Daniel Jones, and Dallas's Dak Prescott to 2 touchdowns and 2 interceptions combined, while sacking all 8 total times. Arizona will try to keep it going against Joe Burrow, who has gotten off to poor starts all season and has been sacked 8 times. Cardinals will rush for 175 yards. Cincinnati is 31st in rush defense, giving up an average of 157 yards a game, and Arizona is second in rushing yards per attempt at 5.3. Combine those factors, and this could be a day for Arizona to make its presence felt on the ground. Arizona quarterback Joshua Dobbs has thrown 4 touchdown passes and no interceptions this season. No Cardinals player has ever had 5 passing touchdowns and 0 interceptions in his first 5 starts with the team since starters were first tracked in 1950. The X Factor: Bengals guards Alex Kappa and Cordell Volson. They rank 65th and 67th out of 67 qualifying guards in pass block win rate. Joe Burrow is clearly not at 100% and needs better protection if he's going to get back on track. Bengals defense has allowed the sixth most rushing yards to running backs. Derrick Henry scored 24 fantasy points against Cincinnati's defense last week. The Bengals will now face James Conner. Burrow is 27-18-1 against the spread in his career, but is 0-3-1 against the spread this season. He has failed to cover 5 straight regular season games. Prior to this current streak, he had never gone longer than 2 straight games without a cover. Cincinnati, FPI favorite, 64%. I'm going to take a chance and go with Cincinnati to win here. I'm going to say 23-17. Cincinnati defeats Arizona. So the other 405 game, and this is a good one here. The NFC champion Philadelphia Eagles on the road against the Los Angeles Rams, SoFi Stadium in Inglewood. And the A-team is going to be on the call for this one. Kevin Burkhardt, Greg Olsen, Aaron Andrews, and Tom Rinaldi. They will be in SoFi for this big NFC matchup. And the spread favors Philadelphia. Philadelphia opening up as a 4.5-point favorite. And Philadelphia leads the all-time series with these two, 21-18 with a tie. That one tie came in Los Angeles in 1948. They played to a 28-all tie. Last meeting was 2020 in Philadelphia. Rams won 37-19, snapping a 6-game losing streak to the Eagles. Last meeting in LA was 2018. Philadelphia won 30-23. The Rams last beat the Eagles at home in 2004 when they were the St. Louis Rams 20-7 in the Dome at America's Center. The Rams last beat the Eagles when they were the LA Rams at home all the way back in 1977. Shut them out 20-0. Michael Bullock, we started off with you. Philadelphia and the Rams. Huge game in the NFC. Philly, pretty much picking up right where they left off. But how about the LA Rams? Puka Nakua. That's the hot new name right now. But business really going to pick up for the Rams. Their number one guy, Cooper Kupp. He's back.
Yeah, Cooper Kupp is back for the Rams, and he could make a difference for them. But let's face it, the Eagles are just too good. Yes, they've had some close encounters so far this season, but as they always like to say, a win is a win. Any way you can take it. So I expect it to stay that way. I'm going to go with the Philadelphia Eagles to win this one, and I think this could be closer than what other people are thinking. So it's yours, Florio.
The Eagles have gone 3 straight games with 400 or more yards and have an NFL high 13 games with at least 400 yards since the start of 2022. The Rams have not allowed more than 400 yards in a game this season and are allowing an average of 296 yards a game, which ranks 9th in the NFL. Rams quarterback Matthew Stafford will throw 3 touchdown passes, doubling his season total. The Eagles have yielded 9 touchdowns through the air this season, third worst behind Denver and Chicago. Denver with 13, Chicago with 10. Stafford has a chance to light it up, especially with Cooper Kupp returning to the lineup. Rams rookie receiver Puka Nakua has 39 catches for 501 yards this season. Both are the most through 4 career games in NFL history. He needs 1 catch and 43 receiving yards for the most through 5 career games. The X factor is Cooper Kupp. It remains to be seen how much he'll play, but seeing that he does, it'll be our first window into the Cooper Nakua offense. Given Nakua's breakout and Kupp's return, the Rams offense looks much more dangerous than we thought before the season. Eagles secondary has struggled this season, allowing the 6th most passing yards a game. Find a way to insert the Rams pass catchers into your fantasy lineups. This is the 25th consecutive start in the regular season Eagles quarterback Jalen Hurts is favored in. Hurts is 23-2 outright and 13-10-2 against the spread in his career as a favorite, 22-2, 12-10-2 against the spread during streak. Philly, FPI favorite, 56% going with Philly. I think Philly will win. I think Philly will eke it out. Shootout game. This is going to be a fun game. Eagles win. I'm going to say 34-31. Philadelphia holds off a very game LA Ram team in SoFi. Going to be a lot of offensive fireworks. So not much more to say here. MF, the game of the week for the Fox side. Philly and LA. Cooper Kupp back in the Ram lineup. I mean, him and Puka, yikes. That is going to be a tough task for the Eagles defense.
It might be, but the thing is that Philly is known for many things, man, and it's good. It could be good for them that this is happening because this could open the door for a lot of things. Look, a lot of people feel like Philly is definitely not, whatever you want to say, and there's been some inconsistency with the Philadelphia Eagles. I think that's the best way to say it. There's been a lot of inconsistency with them. But now here they are, possibly going into a big battle for possibly, a lot of people have been waiting for the Eagles to really step up. And then all of a sudden, here is the Rams. Like we said, Puka Nakua right now looks like he's going to be the offensive rookie of the year. Right now. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. The only other player that maybe has a shot at it, maybe CJ Stroud, maybe even Devon Achane from the Miami Dolphins, the running back, because he's been blazing a path in the last couple games. So now you got your best receiver, your number one guy. You know they're gonna probably focus a lot on Cooper Kupp. That might even be better for Puka Nakua because that might even open bigger opportunities for him. So I kind of feel like Philly is the better team, so I'm going to go with them. But I think the Rams are going to make this a lot more interesting than what it was about a couple of weeks ago. So nothing more to say.
Bullock started it. So with that, we move on to the 425 games now, and we move on to what unfortunately will be our Zonk game of the week. the New York Jets squaring off against the Denver Broncos from Empower Field at Mile High in Denver. And on the call for that game will be Andrew Catalan, Tiki Barber, Matt Ryan, and AJ Ross. Denver opening up as a 2-point favorite. Denver leads the all-time series 21-17 with a tie. They met in Denver last year. Jets won the game 16-9. Denver's last win against the Jets was the year before, 2021, 26-0 win at home. So this will be the third straight year they're meeting in Denver. So I think I've covered everything. So let's get into the Zonk game of the week here, guys. Jets running back Breece Hall will be up against the league's worst run defense. The Broncos are last or near last in every major statistical category on defense. Their run defense is allowing 176 rushing yards a game, while the Jets have averaged almost 96 rushing yards through 4 games. Hall will score 2 touchdowns for his first trips to the end zone since October 23rd, 2022 in Denver. That day, he scored on a 62-yard run, but was done for the season a short time after when he tore his ACL. Hall, who no longer has playing time limitations, should have plenty of opportunities against Denver's inviting run defense. Jets rank last in third down conversion percentage, 27% on offense this season, averaging the fewest plays per drive, 4.7 in the NFL. The X factor is Jets quarterback Zach Wilson. The player we saw in the second half against Kansas City looked entirely different from, frankly, the rest of his career. Will he keep it up? I'm skeptical because the sample of him playing poorly is so much larger, but we'll see. Fortunately for Wilson, the Broncos' defense is a mess. Even though the Jets' secondary is formidable, the Broncos have the best chance of attacking the defense with their running backs. The New York defense has allowed opponents to rush for the 5th most yards a game. Broncos games have gone over the total in 3 straight and 8 of the last 9 dating back to last season. Prior to that stretch, 11 of Denver's first 12 games last season went under. Believe it or not, the FPI likes the Jets in this one. 55% going with the Jets to win. I'm sorry, I don't see it. I got to go with Denver, especially after what they did in Chicago, after that great comeback against Chicago. And yes, the Jets look great in the second half against Kansas City, but I'm still not buying it. I got to go with Denver to win. My final score here, I'm going to go 21-17. Denver defeats the Jets. So there isn't much more to say here. MF, Jets and Broncos, Zonk game of the week.
Jets and Broncos are the Zonk game of the week, but I got to give credit where credit's due. I think the Jets looked a lot better than they did. Made their game against Kansas City a lot more exciting than it was supposed to be. Even though Kansas City hung on and won it and got what they needed, but that could have gone a whole different way a lot. So I mean, it's going to be an interesting matchup, no doubt about it. But like you said, is this the right team? Is this going to be the right thing? I don't know. I feel like this is going to be I don't know. I mean, it's going to be an interesting matchup, and we'll wait and see how it plays out. But at the end of the day, I don't know, man. I feel like Denver should win, but I'm not 100% convinced. So I'll go Denver, but I don't know. We'll see. So, yeah, nothing more to say. Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Denver as well. Even though the Jets did make that game against Kansas City much closer than it should have been. And kudos to Zach Wilson. I mean, he played probably his best game, but the reason why I'm going with the Broncos is because I need to see him do it for 2 weeks in a row. If he does it and the Jets come out victors here, then I'll eat that slice of humble pie. But for right now, I'm going with Denver. So nothing more to say. Let's get on to the next game.
All right, the other 425 game on CBS. It's our number 4 game of the week. The Kansas City Chiefs squaring off against the Minnesota Vikings from US Bank Stadium in Minneapolis. Hello, friends. Jim Nance, Tony Romo, Tracy Wolfson. They'll be in Minnesota for this one. And it is Kansas City Kansas City opening up as a 4-point favorite, and Kansas City leads the all-time series 7-5. Kansas City won the last meeting 2019 in Kansas City, winning 26-23. Last meeting in Minnesota 2015, Minnesota won 16-10. Kansas City has not won in Minnesota since 1996. A 21-6 win at the old Metrodome. So it's not much more to say here. Just bear with me for a moment here. I just want to make sure we're set here. All right, let me see. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Yeah. All right. It's MF who gets it. So MF, we started with you. Kansas City and Minnesota. Number 4 game of the week. Kansas City barely getting by the Jets. Meanwhile, Minnesota finally getting their first win after a hard-fought win in Charlotte.
Yeah, no doubt about it. A hard-fought win over Charlotte. It was a very good performance, but I gotta go with Kansas City. I kind of feel like they know they let one get away. I don't think they're gonna let this one. I think the defense is getting better. The offense will figure it out. Once they figure it out, it's done. So I think Kansas City wins, and I think this is gonna be at least a 2 to 3 touchdown outcome. So nothing more to say. Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, I'm going with Kansas City to win this one. I mean, Minnesota, I think, will definitely make a game of it, but I just think with Patrick Mahomes, they'll definitely pull away at the end. So Kansas City wins. It's yours, Florio.
Kansas City quarterback Patrick Mahomes has faced and defeated every opposing NFL team except the Minnesota Vikings, who have been the NFL's most blitz-heavy team this season with a 55% rate. But will they dare use it against Mahomes, who since the start of the 2020 season has the NFL's best QBR, 89 against the blitz? Mahomes will throw for 300 yards and won't have an interception. This type of game used to be a staple for him, but not this year. He has had only one 300-yard game and one without throwing a pick. But the Vikings are 21st in opponent QBR and yards allowed and have just one interception. Vikings quarterback Kirk Cousins has 11 passing touchdowns this season, most in the NFL. He has thrown multiple touchdown passes in every game this season, the second longest streak by a Vikings player to start the season since the 1970 merger, Tommy Kramer, 6 straight in 1981. The X factor is Vikings wide receiver Jordan Addison. Shut out on just a single target in last week's game, Addison needs to be a capable threat if the Vikings are going to keep up with the Chiefs' offense. Chiefs running back Isaiah Pacheco has had the 4th highest success rate, 46% among running backs since entering the league in 2022, according to NFL Next Gen Stats. His ability to create yards after contact and force missed tackles is also impressive. Chiefs are 2-5 against the spread in their last 7 road games. Kansas City, the FPI favorite, 68% going with Kansas City. I'm going with Kansas City. I will say 34-28, high scoring game, but I think Kansas City pulls it out. 34-28, Kansas City defeats Minnesota. All right, gentlemen, it's time for the main event, the game of the week. So big that we're cross-flexing it on our end. This is our game of the week right here. Per the cross-flex, and rightfully so. It's Sunday Night Football on NBC. The Dallas Cowboys squaring off against the San Francisco 49ers, Levi's Stadium in Santa Clara. Mike Tirico, Chris Collinsworth, Melissa Stark. San Francisco opening up as a 4-point favorite. San Francisco leads the regular season series 15-14 with a tie. That came in 1969 in Dallas, 20-all. Of course, they've met 9 times in the playoffs. Dallas leads that series 5-4. The last 2 times they met were in the playoffs. This will be their first regular season game against each other since 2020 in Dallas, where Dallas won 41-33. Dallas has won the last 3 meetings in a row, regular season-wise, against San Francisco, even though San Francisco's won the last 1-2 playoff games. Last regular season meeting in San Francisco, 2017, Dallas won going away 40-10. 49ers haven't beaten Dallas at home in the regular season since all the way back in 1997 at the old Candlestick 3-Com Park, 17-10. So there isn't much more to say. Michael Bullock, you get to lead it off. It's our game of the week. cross flex style. The Dallas Cowboys, the San Francisco 49ers, whoever wins this game could end up, this game could be well significant as to who could be the front runner to represent the NFC in Super Bowl 58.
Yeah, this is a really big game here. I mean, between two legendary franchises. I mean, like you said, they last met in the playoffs last year, where San Fran won that one. And yeah, I mean, don't think Dallas has forgotten about it. And like we said, with Dallas coming off of a big win here last week over my team, and then of course San Fran doing what they do. I mean, like you said, this could determine I mean, who's the front runner in the NFC. I mean, but yes, Dallas's performance is good, but the thing is, I mean, San Francisco to me is just too good because what they do offensively, especially with their leading rusher Christian McCaffrey and Deebo Samuel, and then of course you got that defense led by Nick Bosa. So it's going to be a close one. It's going to be a really great game, but in the end, I got to go with the San Francisco 49ers to win this one. So it's yours, Florio.
It's hard to find a Week 5 game more enticing than this, as these two historically successful franchises renew their long-standing rivalry. In a game where turnovers always matter, they take on greater importance when two talented heavyweights clash. Dallas leads the league with 10 takeaways, while the Niners have just one giveaway on the season, tied with Dallas and Seattle for the fewest in the NFL. San Francisco beat Dallas in the divisional round last season in part because it was +1 in turnover margin. It stands to reason the outcome in this one will ride heavily again on which side takes better care of the ball. Niners quarterback Brock Purdy will have a pass intercepted. He has not had a pass picked off in his last 5 regular season appearances. He was not intercepted in the win against Dallas in the divisional round either. And he is coming off a game in which he has just one, and he's coming off a game in which he had only one incompletion. So why will the Cowboys have a pick? That's what they do. Cornerback Deron Bland is coming off a game with 2 interceptions, including one returned for a touchdown. The Cowboys have 7 interceptions on the season. Only Buffalo has more with 8. At some point, Brock Purdy has to throw one to the other team. Brock Purdy has torched man coverage, ranking in the top 3 in QBR, yards per attempt, and touchdown to interception ratio since entering the NFL last season. He'll face a Cowboy defense that has played man coverage at the highest rate in the NFL since the start of last season. The X Factor, Cowboys linebacker Leighton Vander Esch. Niners coach Kyle Shanahan is notorious for targeting opposing linebackers with his offense. Dallas will need Vander Esch to be on his game. Good news for the Cowboys. He has allowed just 0.2 yards per coverage snap this season per NFL Next Gen stats, which is excellent. This season, the 49ers are allowing 4 yards per rushing attempt. This might not be running back Tony Pollard's breakout game. The Cowboys are 26-12 against the spread in the last 3 seasons, tied with the Lions, the Detroit Lions, for the best record in that span. They are 13-6 against the spread on the road in that span, tied with Cincinnati and Arizona for the best record. FPI likes San Francisco, 55% going with San Francisco. I got to go with San Francisco in this one as well. Close game, 27-20. San Francisco defeats Dallas and emerges as possibly the front runner to represent the NFC in Super Bowl 58 a quarter of the way through this season already. So there isn't much more to say, MF. Cross flex. Boy, am I glad we had a shot at it. And as long as it's not on that other network, we got it. And here it is. Dallas, San Francisco, possibly an NFC playoff preview, divisional, maybe the championship. I don't know. But nonetheless, here we go, MF. Dallas, San Fran, the rivalry renewed. It's our game of the week. Thanks to CrossFlex. Phil Sims to my Jim Nance, as always. Do that thing I like. Hello, friends.
Yeah, this is going to be a great matchup. And on top of that, it's basically the best, one of the better defenses in San Francisco. And now you're going up against the Dallas defense. How's that going to look? You got on both sides of the ball. You got a very good offense on the Dallas side. How are they going to match up against that very good defense of the 49ers? And then Brock Purdy, he's going to have some good offensive guys on their end. He's never faced a guy like Mika Fitzpatrick, like like um like Mika. So how's that gonna look? What's that gonna be? Micah Parsons. How is that gonna look in that showdown? So I mean, it's gonna go back and forth. I got the Niners winning though. I think the Niners are gonna prevail in this game, and I got a feeling like it's gonna be a tough battle going down to the wire. But I got the Niners winning. So nothing more to say, Anthony. It's yours.
Final game of the night, gentlemen. Monday Night Football on ESPN, but will also be on ABC and also on ESPN2, with the Manning brothers. So, as it will be the Green Bay Packers squaring off against the Las Vegas Raiders from Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas. Joe Buck, Troy Aikman, Lisa Salters, as always. Green Bay opening up as only a 1-point favorite, basically another pick'em game here. Green Bay leads the all-time series 8-5. However, guys, this is something very interesting. Their first meeting was in Super Bowl II. Let's keep that in mind. It's been regular season games ever since. Oakland, or I should say the Raiders, won the first 5. Green Bay has won the last 8 meetings in a row against the Raiders. Their last meeting was 2019 in Lambeau. Green Bay won 42-24. Last meeting where the Raiders were the home team, it was in Oakland, 2015. Green Bay won 30-20. The Raiders have not beaten the Packers at home since they were the Los Angeles Raiders all the way back in 1984. That was a 28-7 final. So with that, gentlemen, let's dive right on in. We have a getting more frustrated by the loss, Davante Adams versus his former team. The Raiders all-pro receiver said it would be, quote-unquote, weird to look across the field during warmups and see those familiar gold-and-green helmets with the oversized G on them after spending his first 8 seasons with Green Bay. Now in his second year with Las Vegas, Adams needs 1 touchdown catch to surpass Antonio Brown, 31, and New Orleans' Jimmy Graham, 31, for the 4th most touchdown receptions in primetime games in NFL history. Trailing Hall of Famers Jerry Rice, 46, Randy Moss, 44, and Terrell Owens, 34. Green Bay wide receiver Romeo Doubs will have a better stat line than Davante Adams if Adams plays on Monday night. Doubs has been compared to him by some of the Packers organization, and here's his chance to show it's a worthy comparison. Doubs' 3 touchdown catches are the most by a Packers receiver in the team's first 4 games of a season since Adams in 2018. Doubs will add to that. Packers quarterback Jordan Love has thrown at least 1 passing touchdown in all 5 of his career starts. He is the only Packer to throw a touchdown in each of his first 5 starts since 1950. The X factor, Raiders pass rushers outside of Max Crosby. Las Vegas is getting nothing from that group. Bilal Nichols, Adam Butler, Tyree Wilson, John Jenkins, and Jerry Tillery all have a 6% pass rush win rate or worse. The Raider defense needs more. The Packers' running game is non-existent this season. Green Bay ranks 30th with 74.5 rushing yards a game. Raiders are 0-3 against the spread in their last 3 games. Raiders coach Josh McDaniels is 16-27 against the spread in his past 43 games as a head coach. Started 6-0 against the spread. FPI likes Green Bay, 55% going with Green Bay. I'm going with Green Bay as well. 23-20. Green Bay defeats Vegas on Monday night. MF, your thoughts? Green Bay and Vegas to close it out.
Interesting matchup to say the very least. I'm with you. I think Green Bay is going to win. I just the Raiders have been so up and down. They've been so inconsistent. I really got nothing more to say here. So yeah, give me Green Bay to win. And Bullock, you have final say tonight.
Yeah, my final say is I got the Green Bay Packers winning this one as well. I mean, yeah, the Raiders have just been so inconsistent, and I just don't see how it's going to start improving. So, Packers win. Florio, let's put a bow on this.
And that will indeed put the bow on this Week 5 edition of TXN Sports World NFL Friday. We want to thank you all so very much for tuning in as always. We'll be back with you tomorrow night 10:30 over on MF's channel, Brace Fan 95, for another edition of the Cerebral Smack Talk, as we will have Friday Night SmackDown, AEW Collision, and time permitting, we could also have a recap of WWE Fastlane. Monday night, of course, we do it all again, ridiculously Raw, as it will be Monday Night Raw, the fallout from Fastlane, as well as the Tony's Take for right now with Impact Wrestling and NXT Level Up. And MF, I understand we have a special programming change this week for 1 week only. Well, all right.
All right. Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't know you were gonna let me talk about this. No, that's all right. It's okay. Well, because of the fact that NXT and AEW are going to be on Tuesday night, we are going to move our Wednesday Night Madness to Tuesday night, only for this week.
Yep.
So it's not a permanent move. It's only for this week.
That's right.
So that's exactly what's going to happen there. So there's really nothing more to say, and that's all that we're going to do. So it is what it is, and we're going to do it at 10:30, and there's really nothing more to say. So yeah, we're all set.
It'll be just like Wednesday Night Madness, only Tuesday. So
yes,
we're going to have the biggest NXT of all time. I mean, you got NXT, you got AEW Dynamite, and we're also going to be previewing Thursday Night Football as well. Matchup of the Denver Broncos and the Kansas City Chiefs. That'll be on Tuesday night. So that means we're taking Wednesday night off. So no show Wednesday night. Is that correct, MF? No show Wednesday night? So then after that, we will then move on to Thursday night for the Week 7 edition of College Football Thursday. Double main event. Oregon against Washington and USC against Notre Dame. Two good ones there. And then next Friday night, the Week 6 edition of NFL Friday. And only two teams will be on bye next week. That'll be Green Bay and Pittsburgh. Notable games for next week. Of course, we'll recap Broncos Chiefs from Thursday night. The Baltimore Ravens and the Tennessee Titans from Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in London. Washington Commanders going up against the Atlanta Falcons. Keep an eye on Seattle and Cincinnati. San Francisco and Cleveland. New Orleans and Houston. Indianapolis and Jacksonville. Detroit and Tampa Bay, which got moved from 1 to 425. So big moment for them. And you also have the Dallas Cowboys squaring off against the Los Angeles Chargers. So those are some of the games we'll get into next week. So that's it. So until tomorrow night for the Cerebral Smack Talk over on MF's channel, Brace Fan 95. This is Anthony Florio here for good old MF Michael Fletcher. And in spirit, Michael Bullock. And of course, always and forever, the First Lady, Dee Dee Woodson. You know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah, throw it up Fortune 4 style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. Have a blessed Saturday. And until tomorrow night, for the Cerebral Smack Talk, you've been watching the Week 5 edition of TXN Sports World NFL Friday right here on the Tone 25 on YouTube and StreamYard.com. For everybody who has been a part of this one, for now, Anthony Florio. So long. Bye, everybody. Bye.